Hello, welcome to the Lunch and Chat with Leslie show tonight. I am excited to bring you some information about how to establish your career goals. Matter of fact, this is one of my favorite subjects because I, at one time, was in a situation where I didn't know which direction I was going. I wish I had someone that was able to hold my hand at the time, but now that I am equipped and ready and have experience to share with you what you need to do in order to establish your career goals. So I hope you're having a great day today. I'm having a fantastic day. I'm excited because this thing about career goals is really true to my heart. Whatever I can do to help you, trust me, you're going to really enjoy this segment. It is coming from myself. I also have a coaching business, 5 Star Coaching Services, and I do life coaching, I do business coaching, career coaching, real estate coaching, book signing coaching, you name it. So, what I'm going to teach you tonight is how to establish some career goals for yourself. First of all, before we even think about going for that job interview, there's some things that you really need to identify with yourself. What are the things that you enjoy most of all? I mean, if you don't like if you don't like cooking, then don't apply for a job that requires cooking. If you don't like sewing, don't apply for a job that requires you to sew. Same way, if you don't like standing a lot, then don't stay away from those jobs that you dislike. What's going to help you, what will help guide you and direct you to the right career path is identifying what it is that you like to do. So those are the things that you need to write down first. Just like you have a piece of paper, you say what you like on the left hand side and what you don't like. So obviously there are some jobs we have to take. Now, I was a single parent at a young age, and I had no choice but to take some jobs that I hated. But I had to do it in order to take care of my family. So I just want to tell you that there's nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, I don't disqualify any jobs out there because they're all important. But what is going to drive you to the next level? I mean, we're at a state right now where people are either out of work or they're looking to make a job change career, or you just feel stuck and you need to do something. So, what I want to tell you, I'm going to address each issue one at a time. So, I'm going to go for the people that are currently working. If you're currently working and you kind of feel afraid to take a move, I understand because we are in a pandemic and jobs are not hiring as frequently as they were before. But what I want you to realize is that you should not stop reaching or aiming for your career goals. So if you're thinking about making a job change, you can start doing it. Matter of fact, you can start taking up many courses or whatever you like to do. Nobody's telling you have to go to school and go get your master's and get a bachelor's degree or whatever. And I have both of them, and I'm very thankful for that. But what really gave me, I guess, that full satisfaction is that experience. Because you can have all the degrees in the world, but if you've never worked in that area, never exercised those gifts and talents in that area, what good is the degree going to do for you if it's just sitting on the shelf? So I can tell you right now, personally, I probably have done every job there is out there. And again, I did it because I had to do it. I did it out of necessity and need. So, there are all types of jobs out there, and I'm going to talk to you about those jobs later on. But if you are currently working for an employer, you're unhappy, you don't like the way you're being treated, someone is just not, let's say you've been there for 10, 20 years, you haven't had a promotion, but you're still there. You don't have anybody to blame but yourself because you did not make the decision to make a move. So I'm going to tell you to at least build that confidence up in you that it can be done. No matter what it looks like. Now, I will tell you, I have to share this experience because it is a testimony. Last year, say maybe September, I was involved. It was August, I was involved in a car accident. So September, I went back to work after being off for like 6 weeks. And when I went back to work, I love my job. I've been there 5 or 6 years. But what happened, I got comfortable. So I'll say God created the situation. Sometimes it's an uncomfortable situation, sometimes we're put in, but those situations will make you move. It'll make you move from A to B to C to D, E, F, G, whatever you have to do. So I thank God for that situation. So what happened with me is that I went back to work, not knowing that, my employer was going to act a certain way. And it put more stress on me. And I'm just a believer that you should not work in an environment that is stressful for you. It's not healthy, for one. And you bring that stress home to your family, and you even put more stress on yourself and wind up having health issues. So the issue that happened with me, my employer refused to pay me my money, which I was supposed to get paid. They called themselves punishing me because of an incident that happened 7 or 8 months ago, which I knew wasn't true. It was just an excuse. So that was my key to saying, Leslie, it's time to move. It's time to step out on faith. And that's what I want to tell you tonight. Sometimes you just got to step out on faith and believe that just because you've been on that job 10 years or 20 years, and now things are just starting to, be a little different, which it is, that doesn't stop you from looking. So please start searching, get on the internet. Right now, we have no choice. You can't go face to face with employers, but you can do things virtually. So virtually, you just need to get on the internet. You need to research certain sites that will tell you what it is that you need to do just to build up your confidence, to build up some of those job tip skills. So I'm going to take you through all of that, but I want to finish telling you that the job that I was working at that didn't do me right, you know what I did? I did something different. I thought you have to think outside the box. I said, well, okay, Leslie, think about it now. Right now, you're just coming back from a car accident. What could you possibly do? Who would possibly hire you, with you feeling kind of tight? I'm already feeling angry about what happened on my job. But that's when you have to check yourself before you wreck yourself. You have to make sure that you are together mentally, emotionally, psychologically, or whatever, because employers can tell. If you're calling on the phone, they can tell by your voice, the sound of your voice, whether or not if you are confident or you're happy and your existing employer. And you don't have to tell them that your employer did you wrong. But what you can do is you can let them know that you've decided that you want to at least explore other options. Right now you're at a job, you've been there for 10 or 5 years that you love, but you would like the opportunity to really just dive into your skill sets, to utilize your skill sets, your objectives, whatever they are in life. So you have to sell yourself. That's basically what I'm telling you. So again, I thought outside the box. And what I did was I started reaching out to organizations I already knew, already had a relationship with. Those organizations, I was able to get immediate answer, immediate contact. I was able to, to reach out to that person and say, hi, such and such, such and such. This is Leslie. I don't know if you remember me, but I worked with you in the past, or, I helped you with a certain project. And I was just wondering if your organization is hiring at this moment. You'd be surprised what happened. Well, that's exactly what happened to me. I reached out. I wasn't sure. I said, well, you know what? Nothing beats a failure but a try. Let me give it a try. Maybe that particular person might be interested in me. So it's about building relationships. Yes, it's about doing an interview and making sure you have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted. But it's also important for you to know that you have other options. Don't just stick with just online. Pick up the phone. You're going to have to sometimes, just do a little bit more work, rather, or more research on it. So I want to clarify some things with you. When you're looking for that job, that specific job, you have to make sure you research that industry. What good is it after you've established your career goals that you have in place and you decide, well, you know what? I think I want to work for BG&E. Okay. So I guess you figure, well, I know BG&E, they're the power company. You need to research a little bit deeper. Find out who the CEO is of the organization. Find out how well they've been doing compared to other power companies out there. That way you sound like you're confident, you're sure, you know about a company. Because I'm going to be honest with you. If I had a company, let's say, well, I do, I guess it's Lunch and Chat with Leslie, and you said you wanted to come on the show, you wanted to be maybe my program manager or whatever, I would ask some questions. How much do you know about the Lunch and Chat with Leslie show? So it's the same way with businesses. You have to be prepared, okay? You have to clarify certain selling points. So if you have certain selling points, certain strengths that you have within yourself, that you know that you're good, maybe you're a good communicator. You need to bring that out about your communication skills. If you're good at just researching or obtaining information, you're detail oriented, all those things will be discussed later on my next segment. But I just want to give you just the basic tips for right now. Now, what you need to also find out is just a little bit about how they go about interviewing. Yes, some companies nowadays, like I told you, they're virtual interviews. They may have a series of questions for you. Just make sure that they line up with your career goals. Because if they don't, you're wasting your time. Just be prepared, and also be prepared for interview questions once they come, because the basic interview questions, they will come. They'll ask you, what do you know about the company? Tell me a little bit about yourself. You shouldn't be fumbling like, well, let me see. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. No, you should come direct and say, yes, let me tell you about myself. My name is Leslie Parker, for example. Yes, I have so many years experience working in this area, yada, yada, yada. So you just have to really dive into it and be specific about certain things. Now, I want you to also make sure you have your questions lined up also for the interviewer, so that they're not the only ones asking you questions. Make sure you have some questions for them. Make it more interesting. It's not just about them interviewing you, but you need to be prepared to interview them as well. Matter of fact, I remember this one lady had interviewed me, and she told me that I wasn't qualified, which I know wasn't true. So I asked her, I mean, maybe no one else has the nerve to do this but me. But I said, okay. I said, so how long you been with the organization? And she said, well, I just started about a year ago. And I said, okay, so over a year period of time, it sounds like you've really gathered a lot of experience. I guess I was being a little sarcastic, so don't take that advice. I'm sorry. But sometimes you have to go there and say, well, you know what? Just like with any other job, most jobs have training. And I'm sure once I'm given the opportunity to understand how the process and the job works, I'll be able to do the job just like you. So I'm looking forward to an opportunity to be part of your organization. Again, you have to smile with confidence, look them straight in the eye, and let them know that you're qualified. So I want to also talk to you about it's like the SMART method. And the reason why I'm talking about the SMART method means that they're specific. You need to know about your goals. When you're setting goals, you need to be specific about what goals that you're trying to obtain. You also make sure that the goals are measurable, that you can actually measure the goals. It's almost like having a milestone chart. You know, you're able to see your progress of how far you've gotten with your goals. And make sure that the goals, they're attainable. Because sometimes, I mean, we may say, hey, I want to be, like for me, I always say it, but I know right now it's a little bit too late for me. I would love to be a doctor, but I know that it takes 10 years or more to acquire that skill. So make sure whatever goals that you decide to set for yourself, that they are attainable. And be realistic. Make sure it's relevant. Make sure these goals are relevant to what you want to do in life. No goal to me in life, whether you want to be a designer, whether you want to be the next politician, whatever, it is obtainable. You have to have specific goals in place. And because the show is only a short period of time, I will go over those goals with you one-on-one. So I'll make sure I have my contact information for you if you would like for me to give you that one-on-one coaching, because I do have a lot of experience applying for jobs, and I'm going to tell you, 80% of the time I've gotten that job because of experience of learning how to interview, knowing what questions to ask, and just being prepared, making sure that I prepared myself for it. So there's certain questions or interview tips, rather, that I would like to give you. If you happen to have an interview and it is virtual, you just have to make sure that your connection is strong. Your Wi-Fi connection is so important, because it's really embarrassing if you're in the middle of the interview and that person's getting ready to make a decision, but your internet connection all of a sudden goes haywire. So make sure wherever you are, if you don't have it at home, there are other places that may have internet connection for you. I know Panera Bread, they used to have, now that they're accepting people to come in, try places like that. And you need to make sure that you have the right lighting and the right angle, because if you are interviewing right now, like right now, I hope that my lighting is good for you, where you can see me real clear, and you can also see the person that's interviewing you real clear. real clear. So make sure your is intact. Okay. Oh my goodness, did it just go out? Seemed like someone is going, that better not be my internet. Oh my goodness. Okay. Also consider your background. You know, like for me right now, this is a very neat background. But if I was in my bedroom, you'd be like, oh my God, her clothes over there, clothes over here. So make sure you have a very good setting or good scenery when you're doing your virtual interview. Practice your answers. Even though you don't really know what the questions are, but anticipate those questions. They're pretty much the same generic questions that they ask you. How did you know? Tell me about yourself. How did you hear about the company? Why should we hire you? What are your skill sets? All those other things. So you should already have that lined up. So when someone's interviewing, you'll have it in front of you without stumbling. And you also need to believe it or not, it says amplify your expressions. So don't go on an interview looking like this. I heard about the job and I want to apply for the job. No, you need to have your posture up. You need to be straight and you need to look at the person straight on. Now, you don't have to stare at them like you're staring at them to death, but you can look away occasionally, but you really should have expressions of joy and happiness. Even if earlier that day someone made you mad, just make sure you just have that smile and like, yes, that you're excited about this job. And make sure you also follow up. I know it takes like nowadays it just takes a little bit longer. And I just want to give you hope that you will find employment. If you're not working, you will find employment. If you need help finding employment, you need to call me. You need to contact me. And I'm going to give you some information here where you can reach me. You see my email address right there, the 5-star coaching services .com. That is the website. But my email address, you can just email me at the lunch and chat with Leslie. You know what? That is my website. I do apologize. If you would just take this down, I will be happy to give you my email address, which would be best for you to email me. Okay, you can reach me at 5-star coaching services, it's abbreviated, at gmail.com. And I'll be glad to offer you that one-on-one coaching to help you get off that sofa, get off of that, just get out of that rut because you don't feel like you'll be able to get the next job. You don't have to stay where you are. I don't care if this is a pandemic. You are meant for greatness. And if you had plans on doing something different, you had plans on getting another job, don't allow this pandemic to stop you from setting your goals. Be serious about your goals. Your goals are your goals and nobody else's. I don't know what your goals are, but you have to write them down and figure out what is it do I want to do in the next year. You have your short-term goals and you have your long-term goals. You have to address your short-term goals first. Now, maybe you feel like, well, I'm not quite ready to start interviewing. I need some help with interviewing because that's not an area where I'm strong at. And you know what? Just like anybody, if you're sick, you go see a doctor. If you need help with your interviewing skills, then you go see a coach, whether it's me or anybody else. But you need to make sure that you get in contact with someone that cares about the outcome of what you're trying to accomplish. So don't feel, that you can't find the job that you need because of what's going on. Make sure you have your resume. That's going to be the next segment because I'll have some samples put up for you for the next segment of next week. Is going to talk to you about your resume, how to have an effective resume. One thing, I'm just going to give you this. You don't need 5 or 6 pages. Remember, information, it needs to be like you have keywords. You have to make sure those words are, especially now that it's virtual, are going to at least they're going to be recognized, I guess, by the employer. Because if they're not going to select you. I don't care how many times you submit that resume. So you're going to have to work on your keywords and work on shortening your resume. So if you've had, like, for me, I've had a lot of jobs. I'm going to tell you a whole bunch of jobs. So no, I'm not going to list all of them on my resume. I will list maybe the four or 5 jobs at the most. And they say within a 10-year period. That's fine. Now, if you've been on a job for 10 years, 1 year, and another job 5 years or whatever, that's great. My resume, maybe the longest I've been on a job, maybe 5 years or 6 years. But what I do is I make sure I put that information on there, and be prepared if they ask you about the gaps in your resume. Why do you have gaps? For that part, you can always improvise and let them know that, hey, I was working on my education. I went back to school, or I was helping a family member out. Anything it could be, but don't leave it void. Don't say, oh, well, I just didn't have another job, whatever to go to. During that time where there are gaps, just make sure you have some relevant, important information that will tie in. Okay. And I also want you to understand that in order to establish your goals, nobody else's goals, you have to make sure that you are qualified for the jobs that you're going to apply for. So if you need to go and get just some more training, you need to take a course. Nowadays they have courses online. Um, let's say you want to go into the IT industry. You don't have to go to school for 10 years. You can go ahead and get certified with that. Or if you know anyone that's already in the IT industry, maybe they might help you and share with you what it is that you need to know in order to get that experience for that field. If it's something maybe administrative wise, most jobs, they require you to know Word, they want you to know Excel. So there are programs out there that would help you learn about Excel, and also some other programs. It can be self-taught, or you can ask somebody that's already been in the business to show you. What I believe in, and I believe if we do this with each other, we will help each other. So, say for example, for me, I have a background is very diverse in real estate, in sales, marketing, administrative, accounting, or whatever. All of those skills, I believe God gave them to me so that I can give them back and share it with you. Right now, I work in healthcare as a data analyst. And best believe, if there's someone out there that want to know what it is, what do I need to do to be prepared to be a data analyst, I will be willing to share that with you. I am not selfish. It's not about me. I don't feel like, oh, I got to shine. I got to be at the top. No, because you know what? I'm already at the top. God put me here. I'm so grateful. He gave me the show, the idea, the Lunch and Chat with Leslie show, to share some information with you. So whatever you are trying to get, what kind of information you need, I will be happy to share that information with you one on one. So if there are people, if your family members have been working, let's say, another one in the government, sometimes we know that government jobs take a while. But I will tell you this, I have someone that's going to come on. She's been working with the government for a while. She's going to talk to you about how to apply for that government job, because there's specific ways you have to do things. So I've never worked for a government job before. I worked mainly in the private industry, but I do ask questions. What is it that I need to do to land this job? So if you're working and you need to make a career change, I can help you in that area. If you're not working and you need another job, I can also help you in that area too, because all it takes is someone to sit down with you, hold your hand, and tell you what exactly you need, what you have, what you're missing, what you can do to at least become, I guess, to be marketable. And that's the key. You have to be marketable even more now during this pandemic season. So marketable means that you're selling yourself, you're applying your skills, you're building those skills that you need required for the job, and you will have a measurable experience, a measurable job in the next, I guarantee you, if you come with me, in the next 2 or 3 months. I know that's a big commitment I'm making, but if you let me work with you, I promise you, I can help you get to that job interview, or either connect you, have some connections to tell you where you need to go. Now, of course, you have Indeed, you have LinkedIn, you have all those places that you can go on. But I'm talking about thinking outside the box and learning how to network, because this is where we're going to have to do now. We're going to have to network with one another. So if there are people that's here, that's the viewers now, that have a job that you can share with other people, why don't you put in your comments? Let them know that, hey, I work for this organization. What can I do to help you? How can I get you, get you to the next, get you to the person that you need to get in contact with? And for those people that are just making a transition, don't be afraid. Hey, that's what it's called, it's a transition. Change is good. As I mentioned to you in the, in my description, that change is inevitable. It's okay to change, because I didn't know when I landed the job I'm on now, I wasn't looking for it. I was comfortable where I was. I knew the job like the back of my hand. But God told me it's time to move. And guess what? I moved too. And right now, I'm in a job where there's some things I've never done in my life. I've never experienced. Even though I went to school for it, it is different when you finally get into the field. So I can't stress this even more. You really have to change. Change happens when you make an effort to do something different. If you've been on that job for 10 years and you hate it, why are you still on that job? Why are you still with that employer right now? I'm not telling you to quit it tomorrow, but you need to have some things in place. You need to make some goals in place. Those are those goal setting things I was talking to you about. So if you want to embark on a new career, take up a certification program. I'm just giving you a few. You can look, I'm a realtor. I don't do real estate full time, but it's the best choice I've ever made in my life. That was back in 2005. And I did it while I was working at Verizon Wireless. And I tell you, I was just there so I could take care of my family, but the job was not taking care of me. So what I did was I said, you know what? It was a coworker of mine said, hey, Leslie, take this real estate course for the weekend. I had to do it for 3 weekends straight. So it means Friday and Saturday. I'm sorry, Saturday and Sunday, I had no days off for 3 weeks, 7 days straight. Had to take the course, and it was hard. I'm not trying to tell you that it's an easy course, but that was one thing. I'm just telling you that's one of those careers that you can really think about doing just to make, if you want to just do it for part-time money, you'll be able to at least have your license. I was a life insurance agent. That being a life insurance agent was a very great experience for me because, again, I'm a communicator. That's just who I am. I love working with people and talking to them. So what I learned from that taught me how to be a great communicator. And you can help people, with their financial needs. You can also learn how to look, if you want to learn how to do hair, that's one of the gifts that I know I'll never have because I don't know how to do hair. I hope, my hair looks all right today, but just go to school, take a little course up. You don't have to go for 5 or 10 years. So I just want you to stay positive, keep your head up, and stay focused. Don't allow this pandemic to pick and choose what's going to happen to you in the next year or so. I want to check back with you, but right now, I will get back with you. We're going to have the next segment. It's about the resume, how to have an effective resume. So I'll have some samples of resumes for you so I can help you. We need help. We all need help trying to figure out how to get that next job, and even more now, virtually. You need to virtually have a plan, a job plan, or a goal setting plan in place. And you'd be surprised. One other thing I want to mention before I end the broadcast, I want to say that just because it's a job that you're not sure if you qualified for, they have to train you anyway. So don't be afraid to apply for a job that may require some additional skills. You have some of them, the basic skills, but maybe you are trying to apply for something. Maybe it says you need, they say 3 to 5 years working in this area. Guess what? If you sell yourself and you tell the people what I tell you before, that I got my PhD, I'm pretty hungry and determined. That's all you got to say. It's worked for me every time. So I want to challenge yourself to see if that works for you. But I thank you. I thank you so much. Every week, I thank you for joining in to this broadcast. I am determined to make sure that everybody that's out there that's hurting, that needs money, that needs an opportunity, needs a chance, I'm going to give you that opportunity because God sent me to help you. So that is it for this broadcast tonight. But I thank you. And I look forward to seeing you next week because we're going to put that resume together and get you ready. You have a great evening. Good night.